Alright guys, welcome to my preview and predictions for Sunday's WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view. But before we get underway, here are the results to last month's WWE Payback pay-per-view, which appeared to be pretty easy for a lot of people to predict, with 31 users scoring a perfect 7 out of 7 correct results, so well done to everyone on the top scores. Now, if you want to take part in the predictions for Money in the Bank, check out the link in the video description and you can submit your own predictions, which I'll then score and post the results to on Monday morning. So good luck to everyone entering, and let's get on with the preview. First up, we'll have the Tag Team Championships on the line as the Usos defend against the Wyatt family, Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Now, the Usos, much like this year's WWE 2K15 renders, have been on fire since winning the tag team titles, and they're really over at this point, as are the Wyatts, so it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top here. For me, because of just how over the Wyatts are, I don't really think they need the tag belts, but nonetheless, the Wyatts are being portrayed as a dominant force all this time, and they've had some huge victories over the Shield without ever holding the tag titles, and I think this could be the time that they finally do get the gold and stop the Usos, who have been on such a great roll defeating so many teams since they won the belts. Also, if the Wyatts do win here, it could really set up a big night for the family as a whole if Bray later goes on to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, although I can't really see that happening, but I'll get to that a little bit later on. As for this match, I'm going to go with a win for the Wyatts. Up next, we have some diva action as Paige defends the title against Naomi, which is kind of weird to see two faces squaring off, but I have a feeling that's because we're going to get interference from Cameron in this one, most likely costing Naomi the match whether she means to or not, and starting something between her and Naomi to ultimately end the Funkadactyls and split the pair apart. As for Paige, I'm a big Paige fan, but her title reign has been a bit flat. I like the program that she's done with Alicia, but ultimately I don't think she's been booked too well, and I wouldn't really mind seeing her drop the title at this point, but I don't think Naomi's the right choice, and I'm still holding out a little bit of hope for a feud with AJ when she returns, if the pregnancy rumours turn out to be just that, rumours. So I'm going to go with Paige retaining this one, although like I said, I think it'll be down to involvement from Cameron in some way and costing Naomi the match. Next, we have the first of two ladder matches with the traditional Money in the Bank ladder match, which features Kofi Kingston, Rob Van Dam, Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose and Jack Swagger. Now, last year I'm pretty sure I ruled out Sandow instantly in my predictions and said that he had no chance of winning it all, and I couldn't have been more wrong, but rather than learn my lesson from that, I'm going to rule out Kofi, RVD and Swagger this time around and say they have no chance of winning. The reason I say that is because Swagger has had so many chances and it's never worked out for him, so I don't see why he should be given another chance. Then there's RVD, who's on a part-time contract, so I don't see why they would give him the briefcase. And Kofi, well, as good as he is, he's just been resigned to being the crazy spot guy, so he'll undoubtedly be involved in some breathtaking moments to steal the show, much like in past Money in the Bank matches and the Royal Rumble, so I don't see him win because of that. So I've just ruled out 3 of the participants, which leaves 3 more in Ambrose, Rollins and Ziggler. Yes, you heard that right, I think Ziggler has a really good chance of winning this, mainly because it looks like Ambrose and Rollins are set up for the next few months anyway, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that without the need to involve the briefcase, so I think it would make more sense to give it to Ziggler. I think it would come as more of a surprise that way because I don't think people would be expecting it. Now, I'm not going to get carried away and say if he does win it, he'll have a successful cash in. I actually think if he cashed it in this time around, he would lose, but that's just what happens with Ziggler these days. They build him up so that you think he has a chance, and then they drop him right back down, and it only makes people want to see him succeed more, kinda like the Daniel Bryan effect. So I think I'm going to go with Ziggler in this one. My head kinda says it's going to be Ambrose or Rollins, they're the smart choices, but my heart says Ziggler. I think he deserves it, and Ambrose and Rollins already have a great feud set up between them, so I don't think they need the case to factor into that. So my pick for this match to do what he does best and steal the show is Dolph Ziggler. Okay, so one thing I actually forgot to mention for this match was that Bad News Barrett suffered a shoulder injury on SmackDown, which has ruled him out of the match, which is why I didn't mention him, and I have to say that is really bad luck because Barrett would have been one of the strong favourites to win this for me. I had visions of him coming out at the end of a show following a title match to declare that he had some bad news and then going on to cash in the briefcase, but it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing that now. Finally, we'll have the main event in the second ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship featuring Kane, Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, Cesaro, Roman Reigns, John Cena, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. Okay, so let's rule out some people out with this one. First up, Del Rio. There's no way he should be winning this, so I'm ruling them out straight away. The last thing I want is another Del Rio title run, and with him being relegated to the mid-card anyway, I don't see any reason for him to get a push. Next is Sheamus. I don't see him win this. The timing really doesn't make sense with Bryan being in the wings to return and challenge someone for the title once he recovers, so I'm banking on a heel win or at least someone with a mixed reaction. Next we have 3 guys who haven't held the title in Roman Reigns, Cesaro and Bray Wyatt. Now personally, I don't think the time's right for either of these guys to get their first title run, because like I mentioned before, Bryan's going to be waiting in the wings to come back and challenge for the title, and I think that'll really take away from either of these 3 guys' first title runs. I'd much rather see WWE take the time and build these guys up to the point that they eventually challenge for and win the belts in a more meaningful way, just like they did so excellently with Bryan at WrestleMania. So that's 5 people ruled out, leaving Kane, Randy Orton and John Cena. From these 3, the only one I actually wouldn't mind winning it, and I won't say this very often, is John Cena. The reason behind that is that Orton held the titles for so long recently, and I don't see the need to go back to that. And every time that Kane's been champion, or even just around the title picture, especially recently, it's like the creative team just don't know what to do with him, and it just never seems to work out for him, which is a shame because he really does deserve a good title run. He's been putting over countless people for over 15 years now, but for me, I just have really little interest in Kane. Now for Cena, and to me, as much as I dislike the idea of Cena holding the titles again, to me it just makes the most sense because it has been a while since he last held them. But one of the big reasons that I do say Cena is, and this is a potential SummerSlam spoiler, so you might want to stop listening at this point, Amazon released the poster for SummerSlam which features John Cena and Brock Lesnar, indicating that those 2 will be facing off at the event. Although I'm not entirely sure that the poster is legit, it could be a fake. But if Lesnar is involved at SummerSlam, and he has been the last 2 years, then I think the only way to have him on the show after we last seen him defeating the Streak at WrestleMania is to have him in a match for the title, which I would then say he has to win, otherwise it ends his momentum and it devalues his win over The Undertaker. Getting back to Money in the Bank though, aside from that spoiler reason, with Bryan out injured, then from a company standpoint it makes sense to give the title to the biggest strong guy, and Cena still is that guy, so it makes sense. And with Cena the champion, it'll be really interesting to see the reaction he gets when Bryan does return, and seeing the crowd split between them, especially with the younger fans who cheer for both guys. So that's what I expect to happen. I foresee Cena leaving as the champion, but let me know what you think in the comments and submit your own predictions using the link in the description so you can see how well you can predict the show. Also, at the time of recording this, there are only 4 matches announced for the show, although I expect more will be added closer to the day, so if there's any extra ones added in the meantime, I'll add those to the prediction site when I set them up. And that's it. All that's left to say is enjoy the pay-per-view, and until next time, I'll catch you later.